Hey, welcome to this shortwave radio channel. And, I got a few comments today, and I also had a question about, amateur radio. And is it a step forward? Is it something that you move on naturally from shortwave radio? And, it's not everybody that will actually become a amateur radio operator in life, and not every listener is becoming a ham, but there's no, there's a progression for a lot of people of moving on from, yes, the radio listening to the amateur radio side. The interesting part of amateur radio, because a lot of you have been asking me over time, so do I enjoy being a ham radio operator? Yes, definitely. Should have I done this long time ago? Probably. I did not miss being a ham, and this is where I want to maybe address one thing that I see a lot among listeners. That, well, I don't really see why I should be a ham. I'm okay with just listening. And yeah, okay, I was okay with just listening. But when you do become a ham and you do make your first contacts, you will notice that there's something interesting and fun about it. Today, two stations that got me real excited in amateur radio. Not FT8. Look, laptop is closed. No FT8 today. Just using, microphone and a Yaesu FTDX10 on my NFED. I was able to contact Oscar X-Ray 7 Alpha Kilo Tango, which was in Greenland. So that's one cool station. It's a Danish DXpedition. I posted a video. The other one that was really, really nice is Hotel 44 Whiskey Alpha in the Solomon Islands, that I was also able to contact SSB Voice. And what I want to say here is, okay, the radio might be fancy, but you don't have to pay that much for a ham transceiver. Once you are a ham, there are, you know, less expensive radios. A lot of people go on the ICOM IC7300 for that reason. Not super expensive, really good radio. And, you can even maybe get, go to Hamfest and get a ham radio transceiver for that works very well for even less. It's not, you don't have to spend that much money to become a ham, and you don't have to be that fancy. Look, I don't have a kilowatt and those fancy, Yagi antennas that give tons of gain. And no, I'm running 100 watts of the radio into a wire, an end-fed, a half-wave end-fed wire. And look, Solomon Islands, Greenland. I've had several contacts, voice Mongolia, for example. I've had Australia. I've had Namibia. I've had so many countries in voice, a lot of European countries, almost all European countries actually in SSB voice. And of course, you don't have to talk. Like I said, there's FT8, there's all sorts of modes that are modes where you don't have to talk. And that is why FT8 is popular, probably in part. But one thing for sure is that I'm very happy to have become a ham operator, and I find the hobby really, really fun. We got to be careful not to fall into the category. We talk about it sometimes. The people that listen to 80 meters and say, "Well, there's this, you know, uh, gang of guys that talk about their prostates or whatever." The other thing also is, I think too many people focus on things. When I see people post, "Oh, look at the lunatics on 7200 lower sideband and so on," I don't listen to that. I don't have time for that. It's listening to radio for me is, or being a ham radio operator is being doing things that are kind of cool, and not you know going to the low part of the hobby where tons of people are not respecting their own license. Not giving out calls, and ranting on the air and all sorts of things. Well, that's not amateur radio. And that's where I always say, You got a button where you can tune around and change the frequency. You know, if I see somebody saying, well, too many of this or too many of that, it's like shortwave listening. Too many religious. Well, you got a tuning knob. Instead of focusing on that, why don't you focus on trying to find something else? And that's where, you know, you've got to do something and listen in and tune around. And it's the same for amateur radio. So, you know, it's not, this video is not there to push you into going and get your license, but it's there to explain that there's a fun thing and a fun part about just, you know, talking or just communicating, having the fact that not only are you hearing a signal from this part of the world, but your signal from your radio also reached that part of the world. It's kind of cool. Um, some of you might say, well, you know, I can't put antennas outside, so I'm becoming a ham. Well, I know a few people that actually have antennas that are inside their home because they can't put any outdoor antennas. And so, you know, a couple of people I know have made contacts with, you know, more than 100 countries with a wire or a dipole that's simply inside their home, you know, and it works. So there's all sorts of ways of doing it. And, you know, if that doesn't work or if you can't at home, there's all sorts of other ways. You know, you can use there's tons of these inexpensive little devices today that are QRP or low power that you can, you know, bring a little tablet, phone, or laptop, plug it in, little battery. You're out in the park somewhere, out in the middle of nowhere, and hey, you make contacts with people, and you make contacts in FT8 and all sorts of modes. So, you know, it's just something more, and even if you don't use it or don't use it a lot, just the fun of, you know, getting the license and being a licensed AM, it adds a little something to all of your radio experience, and it's kind of cool. So that's pretty much what I had to say with this. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.